All right, welcome back. I'm so excited because today I have an awesome guest. Oh my gosh, we connected a couple years ago in a mastermind, and it's just come full circle to so many new things that are coming. But I'm so excited. If you didn't get to see her speak and shine at the Live Bold retreat this past year, welcome Melissa Jones to the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for having me. I know it's funny when you were praying, I was sitting here and I was thinking, I was like having flashbacks. I'm like, it's so incredible that we were in the Community Builders Mastermind, and I have literally witnessed you build a community. I was like, and you want to know what's so funny, Tierney? I signed up totally blind into Community Builders, feeling like I was going to build a community within that community. I actually didn't even know that the mastermind was like to build a community. I was like, I need all these people to be, I need community. I need to be in community. And I was like, how funny that now I am here. I'm in your community. I've got to witness you build a community. But I was just thinking about that when you were praying, and wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe how time has flown.
I know, I know. And that's the funny thing. Like we that was one of the biggest things I think that I learned there because I would tend to have this narrow focus of like, okay, I'm building a community, the one I'm leading, right? And forgetting to get in those other communities that were going to then pour into me and feed me. And there's just been so many divine connections through that. And yeah, and now you're building an amazing community around
Right?
Arlene and everything. So yeah, I definitely want to get into obviously that whole everything about this mission and journey. It's incredible. But we were chatting right before I hit record on this post that I saw that just like spoke right to my heart. And I just want you to share a little bit of yours because you have so much wisdom. And it was just all about how, we wear all these titles or we wear all these hats or these labels that we have, even from wife, mom, CEO, all the different things that we can put on as women. And it was that first and foremost, we're the vessel, and that everything just flows from that relationship with God. And so I would just love for you to share a little bit of your heart behind that. And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so interesting as I continue to explore and have experiences and continue down the path and to look at Arlene and this kind of a movement and the reminder of like it's all connected, right? And so what my mission is like to really empower women to feel embodied and to be committed. And that starts with me taking those steps myself. So like not only have I done this like system of Arlene, like first and foremost, I have always been a vessel. I don't remember a time in my life where I haven't loved God. I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't know God. And we're born on this earth, and I've been in different religious groups and whatnot, but I really truly have had such a connection to God and to being of service. And I think that, having awareness around that has really given me the confidence, the motivation, and the ability to do all of the things, because it's quite a lot. And when we really feel that we are a vessel, it empowers us in a new way to really be able to step into our mission and our calling. Um, all of them, all of the many hats.
Mm. Absolutely. And that's why community is so important, right? And the right communities too, because we can get in these spaces where it's all about the hustle and success and the worldly definition of, prestige and all that. But when we get in these faith-centered circles, it's just such a different energy. There was, oh my gosh, the line that you told one of our speakers, April, which was a complete Holy Spirit disruption of the
Yeah.
entire event, right? Of saying, I want you to say it because it was all about like saying it was heaven's frequency in that space. And do you remember what you said to her?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I looked at her and I was like, I actually felt like I had witnessed Christ consciousness, like that connection, like that vessel, like the spirit coming through someone's body. And I think I just said that was like a witness of
Mhm.
like heaven's frequency, like Christ consciousness. Like it was, I have goosebumps just remembering that. I remember sitting there going, I wasn't prepared for what was about to take place that morning. I was like kept on the edge of my seat. I was like, this is happening. Like
Mhm.
it's so spectacular to be in community and in sisterhood and in relationships where women are really honoring this aspect of life, you know?
100%. And I love how you show up in those spaces just so beautifully. And we were so grateful to have you then be able to share not just about Arlene, but like the whole journey, like the business and what it was doing to change women's lives. Like we talk about, body, soul, and spirit, like they're all connected. And you've put so much into this company and this product and this mission. And so I would love for you just to share a little bit more about that because I know it's been a really long journey to get
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's like sometimes we don't know that the journey of the mission is taking place like virtually our whole entire life, you know? And so I can look back and be like, wow, the journey of Arlene actually started not just 20 years ago, but maybe even 10 years before that, because it is the process of the becoming who I am. It is the process of learning and exploring and figuring out what God is showing you and teaching you. And this day and age, well, actually, I think from the beginning of time, like not always um when we're really innovators and we're creators, we have to learn through experience. God shows us, you know, and I think that we really need to shed some light and some empowerment on that because I think a lot of visionaries feel like, well, I'm not doing it right. There's not really a handbook. But I love this about your community and your mission is like God is the CEO of our business and our company, right? And so when I look back, I'm like, wow, my whole life has been preparing me for this mission, this movement, this company, and there's so many layers to it. And so what's beautiful is like not only did I get to take the journey myself, I'm on the other side of it, so I know what's on the other side of it for women. But it's a really beautiful process to say that, you know, my authority comes from my experience, and that I am not just talking the talk, I've walked the walk. And um, it's a physical product that I'm releasing, but it's holistic wellness. So it really does encompass the mind, the body, and the soul, and assist women to finding stability within the ebbs and flows of the product is our cyclical nature, but how this helps us in every season of our life is tremendous. You know, even in becoming a new CEO, there's ebbs and flows of growing a business. There's ebbs and flows of motherhood, and finding stability in that really is key. And in honoring the body, honoring the mind, honoring the soul, and kind of marrying those and being very committed to that really has been my secret to success so far.
I love it. Yeah, it's funny. Actually, God totally downloaded to me because we use the word CEO all the time, right? We're entrepreneurs, we're visionaries, all the things. And he kind of said, no, you're the CEO, but you have a board of directors, which is the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so I love that. And of course, I love the acronyms, all about them. And he gave me for CEO of called, empowered, and obedient. And I love that because you embody that in
And I
stepping
saw your
into.
email and I was like, yes, okay, I can be a CEO, because I'm like,
Yes.
sometimes the business world, it feels, you know, and what I'm learning is it's nothing is separate, you know, but sometimes things feel like when we really embody like, yeah, we're called, we're empowered, you know, like that I can do that role. That starts to align with our mission. I loved your email when you said that acronym out, and I was like, okay, it even gave me more empowerment. I'm like, okay, I can do the CEO role. Like, I got this.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, you absolutely are. And like you said, when you flip the script then to make it truly about service, because if you're called, right? You have this vision, you have this dream, you have whatever it is. And if you're not stepping into it, who's missing out on that? I mean, I can't imagine you're just starting now and having used your products now for just a couple months, really. And
Yeah.
it's already starting to make a difference. And you see how that has, and I have, I think it is a huge impact on my mental health as well as my physical health and just, regulating your cycle, right? We as women, we are told so many times that like, oh, everything looks fine when you're like, no, I don't feel fine. Like something is
Yeah.
not right. And it's because things are all out of whack and we're not taking the time to fuel our bodies with and our minds and everything with what it was needed. So What's been that what was that big catalyst then for you to actually step into this calling?
Yeah, I mean, I had the pain point that you just mentioned that so many women are, it's on repeat. I go to the doctor, we take our blood, they look at us, we're beautiful, you're fine, but I don't feel fine. It's like I don't feel like I have the energy that I should have. I am fatigued. I mean, something's going on. I have 2 great weeks out of the month, and then something happens, and then I can't show up, and then I feel bad that I can't show up. And that story's was my story too. There was something in me that knew like it's got to be better than this. Like, this can't be normal. And I am not
Mm.
going to adapt to this being the new norm because I know it could be better. And so, just through my venture into the healthcare systems and finding Arlene and really being faithful and trusting the process of just taking essential minerals and antioxidants the way Arlene taught me how to take them, which is in sync with my hormone cycle. I didn't really have problems with my hormones, or we weren't treating my hormones or my period. I was a woman and she was prescribing minerals to me because I was a woman. And what that meant was taking different types of minerals at different times of the month. And after doing this for so long, there was just so many layers of like healing. And Arlene never really told me any of what I know about now that I've discovered in just simply listening to my body, taking different things at different times of the month, listening to my body, having an awareness that I wasn't going to be the same every month. Like, she didn't teach me these. I learned it along the journey. And I'm going, whoa, this is something that every woman needs to know. Like, this is something that we're not being taught, and it's holistic, it's simple, and it's so much deeper than just taking vitamins. Something so beautiful happens when we realize that we are a cycle, when we're a cyclical nature, when we feel empowered that like it's okay to be different every day of the month, and to honor that. There's times where we feel super energized, there's times when we don't. And to feel empowered about those fluctuations is really key. And to feel supported in those fluctuations is really key. And if women could grasp this concept on something doing like Arlene's system, as simple as taking supplements twice a day, committing to that. It's a big commitment to yourself,
Mm.
listening to your body, having an awareness that you're shifting, feeling supported and empowered. I feel like we have a whole new world of women, right? And so I just realized that I was like on the brink of really bringing awareness and shedding some light, to help women um, excel. Because one thing that we do as women is we really sacrifice. We sacrifice our health, we sacrifice our needs. And I think that's so beautiful that women have the capacity to sacrifice at the level that we do, but not at the cost of not feeling optimal. Right. And that's what I was really set out on this earth to figure out. How do we still be feminine? How do we still sacrifice and love and give without burning out, without hitting rock bottom, like maintaining that level of like what it means to be a woman. And so it's a really, really exciting season that we're in here. Just not even where I am with like my company and my product line, but I think women are really ready for this.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's the thing. So many times we're, like you said, we're in this cycle and everything feels off, right? And we're not giving ourselves the grace to go with those ebb and flows the way God created us. Like, he created our bodies and he knows all the systems that we're supposed to work together, and created us very, very different from men, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not a one-stop shop and one size fits all. We have such a uniquely created system. And yeah, when we just burn the candle at both ends, right? And just continue to sacrifice, the scripture comes up that like our bodies are supposed to be a living sacrifice to God. And that doesn't mean that it becomes so drained that you can't pour out, right? How are we
Right.
supposed to go out and do that calling and empower other women and be obedient to what he's telling us to do if we're just running on empty, waking up exhausted all the time and just not pouring in before we pour out, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because, we don't know what we don't know a lot of times. And I think that we sometimes take for granted, like the body can be fragile. I think we've grown accustomed to just really kind of dishonoring the body without even really knowing it. A lot of women don't even realize that they would maybe need a product like Arlene Cycle Support or how it would um, support them until it's almost too late, until we hit rock bottom. And kind of like in our defense, our world has so many band-aids at our fingertips. So when we even have big missions and we have to show up, we can really fall victim to like, oh, let me just push through doing this, let me push through doing that. And I think that um, it's just such an amazing time to be alive and to be able to kind of to stand our ground and to say no, like this is natural, seasons are natural, the earth has cyclical, women are cyclical. Like this is how when we become in sync with our cyclical nature, this is where really how we thrive and provide healing on so many levels.
Yeah. Oh, amen. And you were touching on it a little bit, and I just wanted to clear up any confusion for people who don't know the backstory, because obviously we're talking about Arlene as a product and a mission, but also Arlene as a person who was a mentor to you as well. So, do you want to share just a little snippet of, or however much you want to share, just about how that came to be and that you named the product and everything, just to
Yeah.
differentiate for anybody who doesn't know the backstory here?
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes when we are being asked to create something, we're being asked to disrupt something in the world. We don't learn it in school. We don't learn it through, a teacher. We learn it through experience, and we really have to be led and guided. And then God will show us, like, this is where we need to make change. This is where we need to implement, a new standard. And so part of the journey of me, my mission being revealed to me was my own experience, and you hear a lot of times people that are out to really make big impact or provide healing in a big way, it typically starts with themselves, and so Arlene was my journey. It was my personal story. And Arlene was a woman. And I remember being 28 years old and doctors not really knowing, why I felt fatigued. They were trying to, tell me that maybe I just needed to take some hormones or maybe try an antidepressant. And I kind of was just going through the rabbit hole of like, who can I find to support me? Like, there's got to be better answers than this. And so I stumbled across Arlene. And I remember the one thing she said to me, she texted me, she said, I'm very busy right now, but I will get back to you. Whatever you do, please do not take synthetic hormones and please do not take the doctor's recommended advice. I'll be right back. And so I just kind of was like, okay. She kind of like was a deer in headlights. I was like, okay, don't do any of the things that the doctors are telling you to do. So it intrigued me. And what she did was hair analysis. So what we would do is we would watch my metabolic patterns through hair analysis for years and years and years. And I became very intuitive and very connected to essential minerals and started to really understand the profound benefit that essential minerals have on the body. And I also intuitively with her expertise and guidance just started to understand how the body works together as a whole, so through years and years and years I just sort of started to understand that when estrogen is low, that doesn't mean that we need estrogen. When testosterone is low, that doesn't always mean we need testosterone. It's not kind of like this is low, so take this. It's like this is what's happening in your body, and this is how we support your body so that you can naturally get these systems to align and balance
Mhm.
and start to reproduce some of these things that are lacking by way of the body being overworked and overstressed. And so for years and years, I understood minerals as a support tool to empowering the body to do what the body was really made to do. And the body is fascinating. And it really goes against the grain of what, doctors and medical professionals and, students are talking about, where we look at like, oh, if this is low, then you need this. Um, I was able to kind of break through that sort of philosophy and see the body as the powerhouse that it really is. And so Arlene was such a tremendous um, guide. And she was just like such a gentle woman too. Like I said, she didn't teach me any of this. And I think some of the best teachers in life, and what I love about the product of Arlene Cycle Support is like I really believe when a woman takes this gift on, she begins to understand these things in her body. It's not, it will be a process for her to understand her body, to understand that she's shifting to each month have, another opportunity to rest when she needs to rest and go when she needs to go. And so that's kind of what it was. It was this journey of just uncovering how powerful my body is and how to really listen and adapt and flow. And so I named the product line Arlene because when I started looking up like names and I Googled like what does Arlene mean? And the word Arlene literally means a pledge and a promise. And I thought any woman who commits to taking Arlene cycle support, this is a pledge and a promise to herself, to her path, to her
Mhm.
body, to her connection. And so I thought it was so fitting. And I love the idea of like standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, right? I think that this is deep wisdom. I think this is like deep back in time wisdom that women knew that, this isn't really a new concept to honor our ebbs and flows. We've just kind of forgotten it for a period of time. And so I'm excited to bring back, wisdom from our ancestors. And it's just a really beautiful journey. And I'm excited to now have it available for other women to explore.
So beautiful. Don't you just love those just God confirmations, right? When you look at, and I've gotten really deep into, I love looking up the meanings of
Yeah.
names or digging into, what the like the root words in the Bible and different verses and what the Greek, translation actually meant and just digging into all that. It's so fun. And God reveals, like you said, so much beautiful wisdom through that. And then he sends you those little fun God winks, of the name. I love that.
Right?
So, so amazing. And I have to share, I was actually on a podcast earlier today with one of the other speakers from our event, Tamra, and the quote, example, what you expect stood out. And I feel like that I was like hearing that as you were speaking, because that's truly like we can go through, these sufferings, these pains, these trials and things, and not use them to then help and serve others, but truly living by example and like using that pain for a purpose and turning it into this beautiful, incredible mission and tangible product now that is out in the world and is going to help and support so many women as they learn more and more about our cycles and just how, we can be that vessel, right?
Yeah.
And oh, just so amazing. So please share, how can people connect with you? How can they get their hands on this product? I know there's a community that is around this that you pour so much into. So yes, please share all that information so we can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's really exciting because I feel like we're just like right on the brink. Like this is the very exciting point of like sharing and getting people to kind of come together. And so, of course, arlenecyclesupport.com is where you can learn more about the products. You can order products there. You can learn more about myself. There's also a link on the website to join the community. We have had it closed for only our founding members, but we have an exciting announcement to open that up to the general public. Yeah. And so we'll be
Yay.
opening the doors actually in the next week or two. And there's so many beautiful resources. We're going to call in all of the aligned women that are showing up for this mission. It's going to be a really special space. So, yeah, Instagram also, we've got arlene.cycle.support, has lots of wonderful, empowering messages and information and education. You can follow myself at melissa.jones. And yeah, I think
That's
that's
Yes, absolutely. Well, we'll make sure it's all linked in the show notes. Yeah, reach out. Definitely, if there's something that spoke to you, if you're listening and you're like, oh my, if you're when you're nodding your head along to podcast, I'm one of those people who listens in the car and I'm like talking back to the person as if they're actually there with me. And I know so many women can relate and resonate with your journey, your story, and so much. So definitely connect with her, do yourself a favor, get these products because they are life changing. And there's just such a wealth of information and knowledge and education out there on all of your sites. So, get in there, dig in there, and just be empowered, right? So, I just want to thank you so much for being on here. And I would just love for you to share to our audience before we go, what does living bold mean to you?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I think Living Bold is really stepping in, right? And it doesn't have to look like anything extravagant. I was talking about this on my podcast before this that, yeah, we have a big vision for our life. We maybe have a big calling, or maybe we don't even know where we're going. But I really think that Living Bold is choosing every day, like that small commitment to showing up and doing the next right thing. And so, thank you, Tierney, for always showing up. And I think that is really the key. It's the living bold is a daily action item, right? To show up, commit to yourself and to God, to listen and do the next right thing.
Oh, so beautiful. Couldn't agree more. I love it. Yeah. Right in line, right? Bold is an acronym again for brave, obedient, loving, and disciplined. So,
Mhm.
yeah. And yeah, you just, everything in this mission is so aligned with that. So I'm so glad that God connected us. And there's so much more to come. So I'm excited. Thank you so much for being here.
So exciting. Thank you, Tierney.